Hi everyone, this is Russell Furas again for this new live event about this new round of the PPP. Okay, so what do we have to know about this new round of PPP and actually about the new SBA guidance? Guidance. That is what we need to know today. Okay, so I want to get where to get a couple of people on board before we can actually start with this live. Okay, so there are a lot to know today. Okay, we have some more detail about this the implementation of this new law, and that is what I want us to share today, basically. Okay, so there are a lot of things that we have to cover today. The first thing being, who is the new PPP for? Who is the new round of PPP for? A lot of people have been asking themselves and also asking me, you know, about who is the PPP for? Who is eligible? Like, okay, how much can I get? This is the question coming from a lot of people, and on my Facebook page, but also on my direct phone line or messenger. People are asking about what to do. Basically, people want to know you know how is the what is the calculation of this new loan? Is it going to be the same thing as the last time? Yeah, a lot of people are asking themselves. People are asking the question like, what are the two? Oh no, what are the major difference between this new round of PPP and the previous one? That is what the people want. People that is what people want to know basically. Okay, so we are going to cover a lot of questions that I have been receiving lately. So yes, so who is the new PPP for? How much can you get out of this new round of PPP? And when will the fund start to be available? And how long is it going to last? So those are all the questions that a lot of people basically are asking themselves. Okay, so I'm gonna want us to I want you guys to share this first of all. Okay, I will want you to share this because uh, it's going to be really important that everybody knows what is going on now, and that is how I see this. I think everybody should know what you expect, so that you're not surprised when you apply or when you don't apply, so that you don't regret by not applying because you thought that you are not eligible. Everybody should know all the detail of this application. Okay, as a simple history, we know that the new round of this PPP started. It was signed back in December, but it's actually an amendment of the initial CARES Act that was signed back on March, right? So what do we really know about? We know that the first round of this PPP was giving money up to $10,000 to people, basically to business owners, right? With the condition that they have to use it on eligible expense. Those eligible expense were things like payroll, which was the first thing, and then they have to spend the money on things like um, utility, uh, mortgage, rent, and they have to use the money on the thing that was allowed by the SBA for that money to be forgivable. But with the new round of this money, so what is the difference? So that is what we are going to see today. So what's the difference? That is what we are going to see today on this webinar. I'm still waiting for you guys to share the live so that we can have so many people on board before we actually get started. Okay. See, yes. So before we start, we have a lot of at least 9 questions that we are going to ask, or we are going to ask and respond in the same time. The first question is, okay, the first question that we have to ask ourselves is, the first question is, who is the new PPP for? That means who is eligible for? The second question that we are going to ask ourselves and also respond is that how much can someone get out of this new round of PPP? This is the first question that we're going to have to ask and also answer. Okay. The third question that we are going to answer and also we are going to ask ourselves and also answer will be to know when will the fund be start being available, and for how long are we going to be able to receive those funds? Or simply put, how long is the fund are going to last? How long is this program is going to last? We are going to, since we know that this money is actually given under some condition. One of the conditions is the 25% decrease. So how is the 25% decrease revenue calculated? That is what we are going to share. Okay, so we are going to share about what kind of PPP loan are actually available, because this PPP loan comes into three different type or three major type that we are going to share in a few seconds. So what counts as a payroll? We talk a lot sometime about the payroll because the PPP is actually a payroll protection program. So what counts as a payroll basically in the PPP? And what are the two major tax implications or tax change that are related to the PPP itself? This is what we need to cover, and everybody needs to know that, because this is actually the tax period. That means you need to know the tax implication if you're a business owner. I'm assuming that everybody watching this will be a business owner or a self-employer. So what are the two major tax implications if you receive the PPP, whether you apply for forgiveness or you have not yet done it? So what are the two major? Okay. So what are the new eligible expense that the new PPP allowed you guys to take? Because remember, we knew what the initial PPP was actually focused on. We know that it only have like four major categories that you can spend money on, especially if you want the money to be forgivable. Okay, so how is the 25% reduction calculated if you were not in business in 2019? Because some people also were not in business in 2019, or maybe they were just in business for one quarter, maybe for a few months in 2019. So how is it going to be calculated? This is what we have to share. We have to go during this 10 to 20 minute live. So first of all, so who is the new PPP second round for? We need to know that the PPP second draw, that's what they call it, the second draw loan. The first draw was for the first PPP. This is the second draw. That's what they call it, the second draw. The second draw loan is available to companies with fewer than 300 employees, as opposed to the 500. That was the guidance or the law for the first PPP. So now this money is available to companies with fewer than 300 employees who have already used, okay, or will use the money received from the first round of PPP. So if you receive this money and you have already used the money, you are eligible. But I need to advise you to make the first round forgivable. That means you don't have to be in trouble twice. Okay, the people, if you are a company with fewer than 300 employees, okay, this money is available for them. It's available for businesses, for some non-for-profit organization. This is kind of new because it was not the case before. So it's available for sole proprietorship. It's available for contractor. It's available for self-employed people. So whether you are working for yourself or you're working for somebody else, you are eligible for this money. Okay, these are the first people that the money is for. But what you need to know, the new coming in is that it's also available for the news organization. The first one, it was not available for the new organization, the house corporation, the section 501c organization, basically the non-for-profit, those who qualify for the 501c. So now the new law actually extended to actually integrate those people into the eligibility. So, but the condition for those people to receive this money is that they should show at least 25% decrease. Okay, so all the persons are just listed now. The company with 300 employees or less, business, non-for-profit organization, self-employed worker, independent contractor, but also eligible individual, self-employed individual people. All of those people has to demonstrate a 25% decrease. That's the first thing that we need to know. That's actually an add-on. Okay, I need to insist on this. You have to demonstrate a 25% reduction of your PPP in the first, second, or third quarter compared to the same quarter on 2019. Basically, you have to show because they already have your data for 2019 because you filed your tax already, but you haven't filed 2020 yet. How do you show the difference between or the gap? How do you show a 25% decrease on the first, second, or third quarter of 2019 compared to the same quarter on 2000 of the first, second, or third quarter of 2020 compared to the same for 2019? This is actually what you have to show in order, in order to receive this money. But I have to let you know something about something. If you didn't receive the money at all, you didn't even apply in the first time, this whole formula or guidance doesn't apply to you. That means if you are not aware of the first round of the PPP, you now are eligible to apply, using the first guidance. The first guidance was that if you are up to 500 employees, okay, and you tell them, yes, you're going to use the money on eligible expense, you don't have to have that 25% decrease. I need to let you know that, okay? So if you haven't applied the first time, you don't, for the PPP application, you don't have to show the 25% decrease on activity. But if you apply already on the first time and you want to apply again, then you, especially for the PPP, that's what we're talking about, then you have to show that you have incurred some losses that are more than 25% or less compared to the previous year. And of course, that means you guys, you business owner, have to get your financial ready. The money will be there. The money is already there. 284 billion are already there. And I think 10 or 20 billion are there only for minority. That means you can find what's the definition of a minority in the United States. If you're a minority business owner, they have 10 billion. I think it's between, I don't know if it's 10 or 20, only for you guys, okay? So I will be advising you to get ready. That's what I have been saying. You have to get ready, okay? So that was the main thing that I wanted to share with you. Now, since you know who is actually eligible to get the money, now, how much can you get? That's the next question people will be asking. Okay, how much can I get? Okay, I was in business. I have less than few employees, and I can actually even show that I suffer like 25% or more. Okay, if you have a decrease of 25% or 20%, 25 or 30%, then what else? What else is that the maximum amount you can receive on this program is actually 2 million, which is a little lower to the 10 million on the first CARES Act when we were actually applying for PPP. Okay, that's what you have to know. But what you also have to know is that the money you will receive will be based on what is called payroll, the applicant's payroll. Okay, and later on during this live, you're going to go into all the details how the payrolls are actually calculated. Okay, so borrower generally is eligible to 2.5%, 2.5 times of the average monthly payroll cost. That is how they actually calculate what you will receive. If you are a business owner, you have employees, you have to figure out what is your average monthly payroll cost. Don't worry, I'm going to explain how to get the average monthly payroll cost. Okay, whether you are a business owner or you are just a self-employer, I'm going to let you know how to get to the average monthly payroll cost. Whether you have 2 or 100 employees, we're going to cover that. Okay, but we know that with the new add-on on this new law is that if you are a business owner, you are in the food industry, you are in the accommodation industry, we're talking about restaurant or or hotels, but we are in general talking about any business owner, any business that has the NAICS code starting by 72. The NAICS is basically the North American Industry classification system. When you are applying, or even when you are creating a company, or when you are filing your taxes, they will always ask for the NAIC system. So if yours start by 72, then basically you will be eligible for 3.2 times your average monthly payroll cost. Okay, that's the a big difference, because 2.5 times is less than 3.5. So that is what you need to know. Okay, so how to calculate the average monthly payroll cost? Stay tuned. We are going to cover that. Okay, you don't have to worry, but you have to know, because you can actually do it yourself, but you have to know all the details that goes into all of this calculation, and we are going to cover that. Don't worry. If there's an area that we don't cover, you will still be welcome to ask me a question on the chat or any means that you know. So what kind of PPP are actually available? Before we talk about how to calculate those payroll costs, I want to share with you the kind of PPP that are actually available. Okay, I started talking about that. The first kind of PPP available is the first time loan. It means the people actually didn't get the loan in the first time. So to those people, the law, the rules, this actual guidance doesn't apply to you. So you have to follow the initial guidance that was, simpler. Okay. So that guidance actually just wanted to see how much you made how much you paid to your employees, or what was your net income if you are self-employed or contractor with no employees. So they just wanted to know what was your net income and what was your average monthly average payroll cost, and they will give you 2.5. So the condition of showing that your business has decreased didn't exist. So even now that that condition is added to the new law, you may still be subject to the previous law. So you have to know that. You don't have to go and spend money to get your financial ready, whereas you are trying to be qualified for the first time PPP loan applicant. So that is really important that people know, because this is one law, but two laws are being applicable at the same time. So this is the first time people receive the money. If the first time apply for PPP, you forgot the first time, then this is what it's going to do. You want to do. You are going to follow the FAIR guidance. So the next category of PPP is going to be the second draw PPP loan, which is for a business who obtain the PPP loan but need additional funding. Okay, so you receive the money, right? But you need more funds. You receive the PPP already. You already apply for forgiveness, but you feel like you still need money. So this is what the second category of loan is available, and you have to know which one you are applying. When you are applying, okay, the person help, even though you are doing by yourself, which one are you doing? If you don't know, then you'll be screwed, because you're going to provide or answer the question wrongly. That is why I'm have to insist here. Are you applying for the first time or the second time? If you apply for the first time, then some guidance, some requirement doesn't apply to you. But that is what you have to know. But if you are applying for the second time, then you have to know that some new guidance, new requirement will be applying to you. The first, most important thing is that you have to show that you have been incurring a decrease of at least 25%. Okay, this is the first thing. Now you also have additional funding for business. That's the third category, is additional funding So the people who actually receive the money on the first run, that means they apply. When you say receive, it means you apply. You are actually applying. That means they have your information in the system. You apply, but you return the money. You give them the money back because you didn't know that it was actually the money that could have been that could have become a free money. Okay, they give it to you as a loan, whether it's 100,000 or 200 or 1 million. It's a loan, but it could become a free money. Just simply, okay. So, and they even tell you how to make it a free money. They tell you how what requirement you have to respect to make it a free money. So some people receive the money, they were so scared. Some people made somebody will receive $30,000. I don't know how I'm gonna pay $30,000 back. They just give it away because they didn't know what to do. Okay. So now to those people, yes, the people who actually return the money, okay, or the people who did not get the full amount of money. Some people apply, but they didn't apply the right way. That means they put some information that made them ending up receiving less than what they were supposed to. To those people, yes, we can actually go there and adjust what they were supposed to receive. Okay, this is the third category. So what we need to know overall is that for all of this money, there is no collateral, there's no requirement to have or to show a collateral. Okay, the government is actually is like the guarantee for this loan. That's what you guys have. It's not a requirement. What some people ask me that, oh, I heard that when you have more than 25%, you have to, you have to pledge something before you see the money. That's just not true. You can do it if you have it. I have people receiving $100,000. I mean, they didn't claim no asset, and they received the money. Okay, if you have an asset, then you can pledge the asset. If you don't have it, whether you are eligible for $1 million, you don't have no collateral, you receive the money. This is what I wanted to add because this question came more often because I saw people say, okay, yeah, oh, I have more than 30,000. I don't know what I'm going to pledge as a collateral. So does that mean I'm not going to receive the money? Yes, no, you're going to receive the money even though you have $1 million. If you don't have something to pledge as a collateral, then you're good. Okay. So the only thing is that if you don't apply for forgiveness, then that will become a 1% loan for 5 years. Everybody knows that, especially the people who didn't apply. It's going to be, actually, you have a date. Everybody has a date. When you apply, they tell you when your next payment will start. That means 2020 ends already. You might already receiving letter or email telling you, reminding you about your loan. So at this time, it's a loan until you apply for forgiveness. You should actually apply for forgiveness before even going there and requesting for the second round of PPP, because it's going to make things more complicated to you, especially if you don't keep your book. Okay, or you have to hire an accountant specifically for this. Start tracking your first PPP transaction and start tracking the second. You have to track them separately. That's the reason why you actually have to apply for the forgiveness now, because we're going to start applying for the new PPP by Monday. I'm anticipating on what I was supposed to say actually. Yes. So yes, when will the funds start being available? Okay, when will the funds start being available, and for how long? Of course, if anytime a bill like this is signed, the SBA normally has 10 days. I think it's 10 or 15 days. I'm not too sure, to actually issue a guidance to tell whoever will be involved, whoever party will be involved, to tell them how to do, to tell people how to do to receive the money, to tell the bank how to do. So a guidance was issued, I believe it was on the 7th. So actually, we know that by Monday, January 11th, the SBA officially reopened the application. That means they will start accepting application for the new round, and it will run for all the way to March 31st. So the program will actually last from January 11th to March 31st. But be careful, because we're saying that doesn't mean you have to wait until March 31st to apply. No, anytime this program can just stop. Why? If the money runs out, And that is what happened on the first time. If the money runs out after 2 weeks, then the program is over. That's the reason why you better rush out and be ready to be the first person to apply by Monday. Okay? You better rush to go there and book an appointment with whoever you want to help you, or start getting your paperwork ready, because you're gonna use your paperwork, okay, to apply on Monday. So I'm telling you guys, and after 1 week, after 2 weeks, after 1 month, everything can just run out. Do not come and say, "Oh, I heard that the program was supposed to last up to I don't know, up to March 31st." No, that's the length of the program, but it could stop at any time. Now, what counts as a payroll cost? This is what you have to know if you're a business owner and maybe you didn't apply on the first time. Because if you apply on the first time, you're a business owner with employees, you will know what counts as a payroll cost. As simple as this, the payroll cost on the first run was because there's an add-on on this payroll cost, how to calculate, how to estimate the payroll cost. Initially, the payroll cost was basically the salary, wages, commission, and similar compensation. Payment, when you pay your employee some type of tip, right? When you pay for tip, when you pay for vacation, sick leave, medical leave, payment that requires a provision of employee benefit, including premium insurance. So basically, there's a lot of things. I'm not going to go into all the details because I have more live or video where I'm explaining what will be included in the payroll cost. What I want to add is that with this new PPP, this new round of PPP, there is a new, the new consideration on the payroll cost, which is basically what they call some type of group benefits that the company pays to people. Because when they give you vacation, they're giving you a vacation to you. Okay, when they give you a sick leave, it's to you individually. But there are some type of group benefit, like a group insurance, group life, group disability, group vision, or dental insurance. So some company may have been offering that as an incentive to retain the employees. Of course, if you want to leave, they tell you that, okay, we're going to leave, give you this, give you that, you might consider staying in the company. Okay, so those are the add-on that you have to remember about the payroll cost. Okay, so now, what do we know about the older expense? Because the PPP is initially the payroll protection program, but what are the other expense? They call it non-payroll expense. Okay, what are the non-payroll expense? Initially, we know that the non-payroll expense, that means all the expense beside or excluded the payroll, the paycheck, or the compensation of all the employees, or the owner compensation. So beside those, you have to count your rent or your mortgage insurance, your utility. That is basically what you are supposed to add on the first or initial law that was that was talking about this PPP. Now, the new thing that we need to consider is that the new law has expanded a few new categories into what you can spend the money on. And that is a good thing to know, because you have incurred a lot of new expenses that you didn't know before the COVID-19. That's the reason why they think they have to add those expenses on. The first thing is that now everybody knows that you have to spend money on PPE. PPE, personal protection equipment. Everybody knows that you have to spend money on this. It was actually not included on the initial PPP guidance. Now they have included that on the new guidance. So you have to include within the cost, in all the eligible expense. You can now include the PPP expenses. Okay, you can also include what is called adaptive investment. That means all the money that you have to invest in order to be compliant with the federal guidance in terms of safety. Okay, to protect the spread of the COVID-19. For example, in some places you have to create some type of separation. You have to create some type of glasses. You have to invest. Those are what is called adaptive investment. You have to do that to be compliant with all the regulation in terms of preventing people from contracting the COVID-19. So this is the first category of new expense that are actually eligible expense that was not before. The second one is the cost of software, cloud computing, human resource, and accounting need. This is new also because a lot of companies, if you have a restaurant and now you have to actually purchase a software to help you to sell your food online, that is a new cost. If now you have a lot of data, if you want to save those data into the cloud, if you want to get some more people as a human resource, if you want to actually hire an accountant to actually help you to track all your expense in order to be on track with the PPP. Those are new expenses. Okay, so those new expenses are eligible. So that is the second category. The third category is any expense not covered by the insurance that are related to the property damage, okay, due to the public disturbance. What does that basically mean? It means that if during the COVID-19 there have been some stuff going on, if with those stuff going on, you have a property damage and you actually didn't receive insurance or compensation by any type of insurance. Now you can count those because those are still COVID related. Okay. Now the last thing is the spending on suppliers. Of course, a lot of people has been spending more money on suppliers. Why? Because maybe the supplier were not able to supply them the way they were doing before the COVID-19. Okay, so when that happened, what do you have to do? You have to find a new supplier, or maybe you have to spend even more than you're supposed to. That's the reason why they are saying that now you can count those as a new expenses. Okay, so it's very important to know what you have to spend. Okay, now how much can I get with the second draw of the money? Okay, this is what you need to know. You need to know what or how much I can get on this new draw of PPP. Of course, I already said that the maximum amount you can receive is actually your 2 million. But how to calculate the average monthly payroll? I think I introduced that earlier. Okay, how to calculate the average monthly payroll. So, as before, what you have to know on this area is that basically what you have to do is to take, I already said that, I'm sorry, I have to repeat that, is that you have to take the average of how much you pay your employees every month. That's the average. You have to calculate the average. You have to calculate the average monthly period. So basically what you have to do, give me 1 second, please. Close the door. Okay, sorry about that. I have been interrupted. So what you have to do here is that I want to show you guys how to calculate the average monthly payroll. And from there, you need to know how much you will actually receive. We say that before, the business may qualify for 2 times of the monthly payroll period. You get the gross, you get those average by adding the monthly payroll cost that you spend in your business. How much do you spend in terms of monthly payroll for the first month? How much do you spend the first month? Maybe you have a company with 10 employees. The first employee you pay, I don't know, $100. The second employee you pay $300 a month. The third employee you pay at the end of January, you pay maybe $20,000 as a payroll cost. On the month of February, maybe you pay $35,000. On the month this is the whole payroll cost. On the third month, maybe you pay $40,000 because people are doing overtime. On month 4, maybe you pay only $15,000 because on April people were actually resigning. So basically, you have to add each month that you pay to your employees, and then you divide it into 12. And you will get the average monthly payroll cost. That will be the basis for you to know what to receive. Okay, once you get that number, you time it by 2.5. That is actually what you do to know exactly, because this law is clear. Everybody can know how much they will receive if they have all the financial available. Okay, So this is what you have to know. So when you have somebody helping you, you may, or you should also actually know how much you should receive. That's why I'm giving this out. That means everybody, every business owner can actually figure out how much he will be able. Even though somebody help you, you will know if the person help you well or no. Because if your average monthly salary is $100, you know you should receive $250 because this is 2.5 times $100. Okay, this is why I have to explain this to everyone, because we might not be able to help everybody to do this. The people who are going to be doing this by themselves, they have to know what the formula is. That is why I'm giving this out to you guys. So, but if you are a restaurant or a hotel, or maybe any business out there with what they call NAICS starting with 72, then you will take 72, you will take 3.5%, 3.5 times your average monthly payroll cost. So now what happened? What happened now if you are a new business? This is a new question that came most of time. Okay, so if you are a new business, like what happened now? Let's dig into that a little bit. So new businesses, okay, will use a slightly different formula to arrive to the average monthly payroll cost. It's a slightly different formula. What is going to happen? They will divide the payroll cost paid or incurred, okay, by the date they apply, by the number of months. What does that basically mean? It means that if you are applying today, okay, if you are applying today, you need to calculate how much you pay, how much you have been paying people from the beginning of your company all the way to today date, and you can find the average monthly payroll. It might not be 12, it might not be 12 months, right? For example, if it's only 10 months, okay, if it's only 11 months, you need to add everything and divide it by what? By 11, you will get the average, okay? So some people actually multiply it by 2.5 to actually find out the amount that you will be eligible for. Now, some companies are seasonal business. So if you are a seasonal business, what they want you to do is that they want you to, your amount will be based, your monthly average monthly payroll cost will be based on any 12-week period between February 15, 2019 and February 15, 2020. So between that gap, if you find any time, it doesn't matter when you are a seasonal business, that means you don't run the company for 1 year. Maybe you run only for 7 years, okay? Or for 6 months or 7 months. How do? You have to calculate, find your average monthly payroll cost within any 12-month period. That will be your basis, okay? You take every 12-month period starting, every 12 weeks, sorry. Every 12 weeks. So 12 weeks is basically 4 months. So if you can find every 4 months within the last between February 15, 2019 and February 15, 2020. That will be your payroll, your basis, okay, as a payroll cost. So what do we have to know again about this new law? What we need to know is that there is two major tax implications, two major tax change with this new PPP law. The first one is that the PPP, the amount forgivable, is going to be tax free. That we have to know that it's going to be tax free, and the expense that we use the money to spend actually whatever you use the money to spend in terms of expense are going to be tax deductible, which was not the case on the first time. Let me summarize. On the first time, okay, the PPP, when you went there and forgive the PPP, okay, it was tax free. That means you don't have to include that in your gross income when you file your taxes. That is a good thing. That's a major change. Associated to that, initially the SBA was saying that if we're going to forgive that money, we're not going to allow you to deduct whatever you use the money to spend. That means if you use the money to pay for rent, you use the money to pay for employees, use the money to pay for electricity, you're not going to deduct those into your expense, business expense. That's basically what it means. That means if you spend, I don't know, 20,000 or 2,000 or 5,000, you're not going to take that deduction in your income statement. Okay? So, but with the new law, the new guidance, is now allowing you to not only take the the money free, basically that's free money when you apply for forgiveness. You have to apply for forgiveness to have it not to be considered as an income to you. But also you can still take the deduction. That means you use the money to pay for debt, to pay for whatever you pay for. You can still put it as an expense, as normal expense, which was not supposed to be the case. Okay, because whenever you have a debt that is forgivable, is an expense, is an income to you. If it's not an income, then you should not take the deduction. Okay, so this was the first major tax change. The second major tax change is the relationship between the PPP loan forgiveness and also the what they call employee retention tax credit. What does that mean? It means that they were saying that you have to choose, because some company on the first law, there were this credit that was called employee retention tax credit. That means if you keep your employees with you, okay, then they're giving you credit, tax credit. That's why you have to consult with a CPA. Actually, you have to consult with a tax professional before you file your tax. You have to know what is available to you because of COVID-19. So if you didn't file all your employees, if you maintain all your employees, you are supposed to receive a credit, a credit that was called employee retention tax credit. But they were saying that you cannot take the advantage of receiving a free money. I'm calling this PPP a free money because you're taking it, you forgive it, and then it's free. That's the relationship between the PPP loan and the employee retention credit. With the new law, they say, no, what, you can't do that to people. They're receiving the PPP because they are entitled to, but they are also maintaining their employees because that is one of the conditions to receive the money. So why do you want them not to take advantage of what the PPP offer, maybe as a forgiveness or stuff? So basically, those two are allowed to people. So you can take all the advantage of the PPP and also the advantage of the ERTC. That is basically what it means, the employee retention tax credit. You have to know, okay? Now, how is the 25% reduction in your revenue calculated? I think we didn't touch about it. We didn't go into detail, okay? We need to know how to figure out how the 25% decrease of your income will be calculated. Of course, I'm not talking about the document you have to show. I'm talking about how are they going to look at the document that you provide to them to know is you are actually respecting, you are complying, you are fulfilling that requirement of 25% or more decrease on income. So how do they go by that? Business owner, basically, you will have to compare what? You have to compare any quarter on 2020, okay? Any quarter in 2020. A quarter is a period of 3 months. So any 3 months, any quarter in 2020 with the same quarter in 2019, because you filed your tax 2019 already, but you haven't filed your 2020 already. Now you have the possibility to figure out what you made for each quarter, right? You know exactly what you made on each quarter, but you don't, you know, okay? Because if you are doing your financial, even though you're not doing your financial, you know exactly how your business was before or during or after COVID-19. Okay, you know those. You just have to have them into a document that that your lender can actually look at and see, oh yeah, I see that on quarter 1, 2000 and quarter 2, for example, 2020, this person was making, for example, this is an example, okay? Let's say on the second quarter of 2020, you made $30,000. But on the second quarter of 2019, you made $50,000. When you compare those, you see that 2019 quarter two, you made $50,000. On 2020 quarter two, you made what? $30,000. That is what? That's a decrease of 20,000, which is basically 40%. So you are more than eligible to receive the money because you have incurred a decrease of 2,000 of basically 40%. Then you are eligible to receive the fund. That is what you have to know. So you have to compare any quarter in 2020 to any quarter in 2019 to see what is the gap. Of course, that means you have to get your bookkeeping in order. And I have been saying that long time for before before those end of the year holidays. I've been telling you guys you have to get your financial ready, and people are going to be late on this because you will not be able to show this. Okay, and I've said that. So this will be maybe the last time that I'm saying because the people already start doing it or send it to me, sending the document in. On Monday, we're gonna start apply for the PPP loan. So this is what the very thing that I want to share with you. So now, what if you were not in business in 2019, or you were just in some months, you were not in a business for the whole 2019, or you were not even in business for 2019 at all? So what happened? So we have to see a little bit what will happen if you were in the business for just a few months, or for maybe you were not in business on 2019 at all. Okay, so this is how you calculate your 25% decrease if you were not in business in 2019. I mean, or maybe you were in 2019 only for 1 quarter or 2 quarters only. So what is going to happen? If you are not in business during the first or second quarter of 2019, it means you were only in business maybe starting from July, right? Some people start the business only on July 2019, or I don't know, November 2019. So if you were in business only for the third and fourth quarter of 2019, what will happen? Then you may compare any quarter of 2020. So that means you have the discretion of comparing any quarter on 2019, okay, of 2020. You can pick the quarter, the second quarter, which had more impact of the COVID-19. You can pick any quarter and compare that quarter to whether the third or second quarter of 2019. That is basically what you do. So again, if you were in business only for 2 quarters on 2019, quarter 3 and quarter 4. Now, what do? You go to 2020. You pick your best quarter. When I say best quarter, the quarter when you made less money. Okay, you're not gonna pick the quarter when you made a lot of money. You pick the quarter that you make less money. Then that means your profit on that quarter will be lower. You will go and compare that quarter. You will go and compare that quarter to whether the third or the fourth. If I was you, I will pick the quarter that has higher income. Of course, that means the gap will be even greater. Okay, so this is what you have to do if you were not in business on the first and second quarter. Now, if you were not in business during the first, second, and third quarter of 2019, what happened? The same thing, but at least you were in the business for the fourth quarter. What do? The same thing. You will compare any quarter in 2020. Okay, you will compare any quarter in 2020 with that fourth quarter of 2019. That is basically what you have to do. Now, some people may be like, okay, I was not even in the business in 2019 at all, because when we were doing the PPP during 2020, some people were saying that, because the condition was that you should have been in business before. They were like, okay, I was not in business in 2020 because I don't even have my tax document doesn't show no business on it. My 2019 tax doesn't show nothing because 2019 was one of the requirements. I was not in business in 2019. So how do I go by this? Okay, some people were asking those questions, and I told them something. I'm going to say the same thing here. So what happened if you are not in business in 2019? Okay, basically what's going to happen is that you will compare, okay? You will compare the first quarter You will compare the first quarter of 2020 to any quarter. Basically, you will compare any quarter in 2020, whether it's the second or third or fourth quarter. You will compare those quarters to that single quarter that you have business on in 2020. Maybe you were in business in in January, okay? So then you have a first quarter. At least you were there on the first quarter in 2020. You will compare your activity basically on 2020. Any quarter you have to choose from January. I mean the second, third, fourth. Of course, you want to choose the quarter that was the really bad activity for you. You compare those with the new, the quarters that is that you actually made less income, which is the first quarter. No, to the quarter where you are making more income, which is the first quarter. Basically, the only quarter that you were in business on. So basically, I think I'm done with everything I had to share with you. I don't see the question here. I have a question about stimulus check. Somebody has a question about the stimulus check. The stimulus check was supposed to be issued since even before the end of the year. If you didn't receive the stimulus check, you have to know. I have been saying that long ago. If you didn't receive your stimulus check, you know that even the first stimulus check, I've been telling you guys that if you didn't receive a stimulus check, you should actually receive those in your taxes. Okay, you have to know. If you didn't receive it in your taxes, you have to know that you should actually collecting your 1,200 or the new 600 in your 2020 stimulus check. So if you don't receive it, don't worry. If you want to go after them and collect it, that's good. But if you never receive it and you want to file your taxes now, don't worry. You will collect all of that in your taxes. And that's not the only thing you can receive in your taxes if you didn't receive. There are so many other things that you can get into your taxes if you didn't receive it during the time you were supposed to receive. And I have a live webinar when I'm explaining what people should get. Okay. So now, as a takeaway, what do we have to know as now? What we have to know is that the PPP officially reopens. If you just got here to the live, this is what you have to remember. The PPP actually reopened the doors on January 11. The second thing you have to know is that you have to demonstrate that you have incurred a 25% decrease. Okay. The third thing is that you have to have utilize the first round of PPP before you can actually apply for the second one. In other words, you have to actually apply for your forgiveness. That is really the best thing to do if you want to maximize the chances to get the money. Okay? So basically, and the add-on is that if you have a restaurant, lucky you will receive 1 point more than the normal average businesses. It means what? It means that to calculate your average, the money you will be eligible for, you will take your average monthly payroll cost. We give you 3.5 as opposed to 2.5. Okay, this is what you need to know, and that is for business owners. Not only business owners that are involved in the restaurant and accommodation industry. Basically, generally speaking, any business that has the NAICS starting by 72, those are the business that qualify to receive even more funding, because we know how they are being impacted. The hotel, nobody was going to the hotel because of COVID-19. Nobody was going to the restaurant, so they have incurred a lot of losses. So this is what you have to know. You have to know the calculation of your payroll costs. I just told you. You have to know the calculation of your forgiveness. Not the forgiveness. The calculation of your eligible expense, or the calculation of the money you should be receiving. Okay. So I don't see no more question here. The last thing I didn't explain to you is that if you have a business, it was not in the first law. If you have a business in the restaurant and hotel industry, and you have different locations, you may actually now apply for different PPP and receive more funding from different applications. Okay, this is a big deal, because so many people were telling me, okay, I have this beauty salon, but I have another one over there. How do I do? I have customers with 2 or 3 beauty salon, okay? Salon owner with 2 different shops. They were asking, I was telling them, you know what, you have to pick one, okay? Pick the one that can qualify you with more income. Now, if you have those many stores, you may be eligible to apply for all of those. But the only condition is that they have to have different EIN number. You know that you can apply different. You can apply for a different EIN number. I mean, you can do that for any store. You can just apply for a different EIN number because it's a different. Even though it's the same name, but it's a different location. It's a different. Even though it's the same owner, you can apply for a different EIN number, and then you will receive funds twice or 3 times or 4 times, depending on how many stores you have or how many applications you want to submit. So this was the PPP forgiveness 1.2 update. I don't know if you have a question. If you don't have a question, I will urge you to go there and get ready because we have been talking about this a lot. A lot of people miss the first opportunity. So not only we have a lot of people from the first on that are going to be rushing in to get the fair share now, but we also have a lot of people who actually receive the money that are doing everything that they were supposed to do to be compliant, to fulfill all the requirements, and actually receive this money. So if I was you, I will actually be sure that on Monday I'm online to get my application done to maximize the chance of receiving the maximum money I can receive. So that was Russell Fowler's. I don't know if you like this video. If you're watching on YouTube, just go there and subscribe if you want to receive this type of information. My name is Russell Fowler again. I'm a tax and accounting strategist. I help salon owners and business owners in general to mitigate the effect of the business, to mitigate the effect of the taxes on the activity, and actually help them with their bookkeeping, accounting, and CFO services so that they can actually reach their goal by the end of the year. Again, if you want to watch this or you want to be part of this type of video anytime it goes out, just subscribe and hit the notification bell. That means I will be there to serve you. And if you want us, my team, to help you on it, I will leave the link here so that you can book an appointment with my team to help you. Okay? It could be to help you to get those documents ready. It could be to help you because you have all the documentation, you have an accountant, you have your bookkeeping ready, you have all your financial statements, just to help you actually place the order for this application. Or if you want to join the group, because you also have a Facebook group, I will also drop the link right here so that you can actually jump in and take all the benefits of being in that group. If you are in the group now and you have any other question, because I'm actually doing the live in the group. If you are in the Facebook group, PPP forgiveness, how to get what to do with it, and just ask your question. Ask your question because you are in the group to receive help. Okay, ask your question whether in the group, in the post, or private to me or to any of the administrator, and it will be the pleasure to actually help you. Okay, you are in the group to receive help, not in the group just to sit and watch. This group where you are watching in is to help PPP and ELDL. Okay, it was specifically created for that back in 2020. So until then, I'll see you on the next video. Ciao.